depressed, you're living inside of your how you feel. You don't care about anything outside of yourself, and you're an exceptionally selfish person. That's all they're trying to do is convince you and teach you to be extremely selfish. Let me tell you something. Depression is not real. Feeling depressed is real. So you can feel depressed, but you feel depressed.
Защо крещи? Защо крещи? Не може ли да го казва нормално, смисъл? Той почва да го крещи! Той не може да го каже нормално, защото той го крещи! Това не му прави думите.
Natural biological evolutionary trigger for you to change something in your life. That's your own mind telling you you're unhappy about X. If I went to jail today, I'd be depressed because I'm in jail. Right. I haven't caught depression. I don't have a disease. I'm just upset with my situation. Yep. I have people mess with me all the time.
Добре, това е окей, нали, ок?
I'm fat and I can't get a girlfriend because I'm depressed. I'm like, no, pancake lover. You're depressed because you're fat and you can't get a girlfriend. Do you understand? Yeah. No matter what the worst thing that could possibly happen to me on earth, I will feel sad, but I will recover and I will not become depressed because I don't believe in depression. If you're in an old haunted house, right? You have two people in two haunted houses. One believes in ghosts and one doesn't. You hear some noise in the night. The wind blows, right? The man who believes in ghosts is like, oh no, a ghost. Now he's scared, right? He wants an exorcist. He's starting to get sleep. He's scared about ghosts. He's paranoid. The guy who doesn't believe in ghosts goes wind, whatever, and goes back to sleep. Do you understand that it's the belief that gives it power?
Right.
If you don't
believe that gives it power.
If you don't believe in depression, you
become
depressed. And I refuse to believe in something that's going to weaken me. Why would I believe in something that's going to weaken my ability to deal with problems in life?
Ма брат, той яко крещи, човек, смисъл. Защо трябва да вярвам на нещо, което ще ме направи по-слаб?
Why would I do that? I'm temporarily immortal. Do you understand? Do you understand? I'm temporarily immortal. And I'm not going to waste my living years believing in things which take power from me. Because I'm not an idiot. Real men cry, and if women can cry, men can cry too. There's nothing wrong with it. And there absolutely is something wrong with it, and I'll explain to you why. Life as a man is far more difficult than life as a woman. And one of the key components of manhood always has been and always will be, we have the ability to control ourselves and not act emotionally. Females are more emotionally driven, more emotionally impulsive than a good man should be. Saying that I felt like crying so I cried, this makes me a real man, is as stupid as me saying, well, I felt like smashing his face in, so I smashed his face in. This makes me a real man. No. The hallmark of a real man is controlling himself, controlling his emotions, and acting appropriately regardless of how he feels. And throughout human history, this is exactly how men had to live their lives.
О, да, брат. Ами, искам малко от земята на оня, ами аре да го атакувам, брат ми.
Do you think that the teenagers storming the beaches of Normandy felt like crying? Of course they did. But they also knew that that wasn't the correct thing for them to do. They had a duty to commit to.
Йо, брат.
They had honor, and they did what they were supposed to do regardless of how they felt. That is the mark of a man. Weakness and absolute submission to your feelings are not the hallmarks of men. It's not the way society has ever been built. It's never been built off the backs of men who were crying their eyes out because they felt like crying. The only kind of men who advocate crying are the kind of men who do not have enough self-control to prevent themselves from crying. Because we're all human. There's times...
И окей, брат, нали си all nice and такъв... някакъв такъв, аз съм много хъсъл, аз не се контролирам от емоциите си, и така. Окей, срещаш момиче, което ти харесва, and then what? Няма да харесам заради парите ти или заради това, че ти можеш да актваш въпреки емоциите си или такива работи. Покажи ми нещо.
in your life, as a man, you're going to feel like crying. It's going to happen. But...
Аз нямам против мъжа ми да плаче пред мен. Нямам против. Ако, нали, нещо се е случило, нали, не се чувства окей, let go. Човек, примерно, баща си е починал. Няма да се разревеш ли, арести бе? Защо не пред жена си, брат? Тя legit е the closest thing to you. She is your wall. Вие не сте срещали някакъв safe place в жена явно. Не смисъл, вие ако не можете да си създадете двамата един safe place, в който да се чувствате окей, примерно, да сте си истински с един с друг, примерно, да си ревете. Аз, примерно, да, пред другите няма да се разплача, ама пред мъжа си или жена си, why not? Защото знам, че тя няма да ме джъджне, няма такова, ще ме успокои, примерно. Жените искат да им споделяш, за да го използват срещу теб. Защо трябва да използвам нещо срещу тебе, като ти ми си се доверил да ми го кажеш? Аз говоря изцяло за себе си. Не, ние в момента водим дебат, казаха ми да пусна Андрю Тейт и спорим вече. Аз като цяло не вярвам в скандалите, ако нещо, примерно, ако човека срещу мен наистина не разбира point of view и че той е в грешка. Като не разбира моя point of view и твоя... Аз мога да кажа, че в 99,9% от случаите се поставям първо на мястото на другия, за да видя реално той какво вижда, но когато той не прави същото за мен и не вижда моя POV и поинтва само неговите работи, тогава става скандал. Защото аз смятам, че съм прекалено емпатичен човек. Защо трябва да използвам нещо, което ти имал смелостта да ми кажеш срещу тебе? Това не го разбирам. Защо трябва да го използвам срещу тебе? Ако се противоречиш, да. Ако се противоречиш, окей, смисъл ще кажа, добре, защо го каза тогава това, като това в момента изключва твоята хипотеза.
What you're supposed to do is not cry, because this is a test in mental fortitude. And there is no physical fortitude, there's no financial fortitude, there's no other type of fortitude without mental fortitude. So when you feel like crying, you ensure you do not cry, and you act appropriately as a man should. The men who say no, succumb instantly to your emotions, are the kind of people who have no self-control. And let me tell you something about men who have no self-control. Men who live without self-control are the kind of men who cry when their girlfriend cheats on them, because she certainly does, because she doesn't respect the little crybaby, and she's only with you because she's ugly as fuck and she has to settle for a little soy boy pussy like you. And these guys sitting there, what they're trying to do by telling you to cry is drag you down to their level. They look at people like me, and I say, Ross, that's a big G. He's out there, he's fucking women, he's got his Lambo.
В едни взаимоотношения трябва да се гради един safe place, в който може и двамата да се споделяте.
He's a multi-millionaire, self-made, 6'4", 4-time kickboxing world champion, chess genius. I don't like the way he's living his life because he's kicking too much ass. You need to cry more. He's trying to drag me down to his level so I can be a little crybaby like him. And he wants everyone else who reads his tweets to be a crybaby too, because the more little weaklings he can create, the less bad he'll feel about himself.
Ако реве пред мен всяка седмица, my bitch is gay.
No woman certainly wants to fuck a little crybaby. So don't listen to the advice of people who are living lives you wouldn't want to live. What's actually interesting is, I always use this analogy, if you could build yourself from the ground up, if you could literally just, like from a video game, just tick...
Не, в смисъл, не виждам причина, по която да ревеш за всяка седмица. Аз даже не рева всяка седмица. Даже не рева всеки месец. Аз вече не рева. Въобще. Кажи за какво рева последно. Това е малко гадно. Ама беше заради като цяло ситуацията между Русия и Украйна. Аз не бях спала супер много време и сънувах адски много кошмари за това цялото нещо. И майка ми ще да си изгуби работата. Някакви такива. Бяха се насъбрали много шитове. И наистина ми беше много тегаво. Защото вече исках да се наспа и да не сънувам някакви кошмари и да не такова. И само в TikTok влизам всякакви такива работи. Не можех да отида в някаква социална мрежа, в която нещо да не ми говореше за това. Но той беше преди 3 месеца, може би.
Boxes and build yourself. Nobody would choose to be a liberal soy boy. Nobody would choose to be a small, weak guy who has to cry when he gets upset. Everyone, when they get that application form from God saying build yourself for your next life, would tick tall, strong, smart, mentally tough, doesn't cry, gets pussy, rich. They tick all the things they tell me I'm bad.
What a списък, брат.
They tell me is bad. But if they had the choice to have these things instantly, they would sign up. And the reason they don't have these things is because all of these things come with hard work. To be physically strong, you have to work out. That's difficult. To be financially independent, you have to be smart. That's difficult. So they don't have these things because they're hard for them to acquire, but they're very easy for them to acquire. They'd have them all. Nobody wants to be a crybaby. The mark of being a real man is not being a crybaby. The mark of a real man is walking down the street, 5 guys with knives coming up to try and rape your girlfriend, and you look at them in the face and saying, fuck you. It's not crumbling into a ball, crying your eyes out.
Тук се взе на сериозно, маняк. Тук се взе на сериозно.
Guys come to me and they go, well, how should I act? Like when I've got guys who I train, they go, how should I act? And I say, why are you acting? You're like, you have to act a certain way when a woman disrespects you. If a woman disrespects me, I haven't got to act shit because I'm pissed off for real. I'll never talk to her again for real. Like, there's no act. Like, when you talk to me like I'm a dickhead, fine, I'll never reply to you again. And then she'll lose her mind because she's never had a guy ignore her. You know, but to me, it's not an act. They're coming along. What do I do here? What do I do there? You need to become the kind of person who doesn't take disrespect from females. Why are you going to take disrespect from people? Why are you going to have a woman live in your house? And if someone breaks into the house, you have to go downstairs and face an attacker who could have a fucking machine gun. You have to go down there as a man to protect her. But when you ask her for a cup of coffee, she's going to give you attitude. And you're going to accept that shit. You're going to sit there and go, oh, well, you know, she's had a long day. I don't give a fuck how long your day is. I asked for coffee. I pay for this house. I'll risk my life to keep you alive. If you don't want to make me a cup of coffee, that's perfectly fine. Pack a fucking bag. Get out. I've had that exact...
Ciao. Enough.